Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Mile High Game Guys board gaming podcast. I'm your host, Adrian.
And I'm Jeff.
There's a nice little gap there for Zach that'll, I'm sure, get taken out in editing. But
No, we leave the gap in. We need that moment of silence for Zach.
Well, Zach, when you edit this, make sure to leave that gap in for yourself. Zach is not here because he woke up some point this morning and or late last night just vomiting everywhere.
Yes.
Like that scene in Exorcist, just vomit everywhere. Or so he tells us. And he stayed home and was still not feeling up to coming and doing streaming. So it's just Jeff and I. So
And we're recording on a different day than normal.
Yeah, we're on Monday instead of Sunday. Yeah. And we're drastically earlier than we usually are as well.
Yeah.
Almost 2 hours earlier. So yes, May, Zach is in fact dead.
It's going to be a 4-hour podcast because we still have to end at the same time contractually.
Correct. Matt was saying that, East Coasters would be able to watch without crashing halfway through. And no, sir. We're going to go all night long.
We're going long. Also, this episode brought to you by...
I was just about to say, this is a good time to mention that this episode
This Vomity episode is brought to you by...
Is sponsored by our awesome sponsors, Gray Fox Games. Looks like, seems like January and February are just, maybe 2020. Maybe this will just be 2020. We'll be two hosts.
Yeah.
The entirety of 2020.
Yep.
It'll be shocking when we actually get to have a third host on.
Yeah.
I don't know what we'll do.
Nope. Normally we'd plan for this.
Yes.
And be like, hey, who's available?
Right.
But I was 8 minutes away when Zach was like, I can't make it.
Yeah. And since we were doing it so much earlier, Wes, he lives really close to me, but he's not home yet. He didn't get home till 6:30.
Yeah.
I was like, well, I could make Jeff just sit around for an hour.
Nope.
Well, you
got things to do too.
Yeah, I do. My mom flies in tonight.
Yeah.
May wished us a happy anniversary. So thank you, May. That was a
board game night anniversary.
Yep. Yeah. So the game night group that I run here in Denver is now 7 years and about a month old. So yeah, we usually hold the anniversary in January. Maybe that's when we'll do MHGG Con. We'll just smash the two together, really cross the streams.
Yes, right in the middle of the ski season.
Correct. It'd be a great time to go rent out a chalet.
With a maximum amount of money spent.
Yeah.
Spare no expense.
We'll get one of the ones that, sleeps 100 people and costs 10 to 20 G's to rent.
A night.
Yeah, a night. Now, when we charge $200 a ticket, like some of the big cons, we're going to include a room.
Yeah.
We're not.
It might be a college dorm, like some, let's say, Blood Bowl championship that is to be not named. You're getting that college dorm whether you want it or not. It comes with the fucking ticket.
Can you actually just not stay in the dorm?
Yes.
Okay.
But you can't not pay for it.
Okay. Yeah. That's fair. Right on. Well, before we get too much into random banter and stuff, let's talk about what we've been playing, because that is ostensibly how we like to do things.
Yes.
Nowadays. So on Friday, we did a stream, and we streamed the networks. Streamed. I don't like the past tense of streamed.
You strum a guitar. I don't think you strum a board game.
Yeah, but we did a stream of the networks with its expansion. We all had producers and all of that stuff, a bunch of new cards, new shows, things like that. It went decently well.
The Executives expansion replaces pretty much everything.
Yep.
Because it has a new draft start to the game.
I think you can still play with the old TV shows and things, maybe.
Yes, but the draft is way better.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. Well, I mean, even for the seasons 1 through 4, because you draft just that starting season, or the preseason or whatever.
Yeah, instead of it just being 3
generic
shitty things
shows,
that you replace.
Yeah.
You might have a chance to actually get a genre of some sort.
But yeah, it was good. It was relatively close in that we were all within 1 to 3% of each other's score, which in a plus 200 point game means we were 20 points apart.
More like 30.
I thought I was only 20 behind.
Zach was over 300.
Just barely over 300. And I was at 280. I was sitting at 280. Yeah. I think he was 304.
So
I was 20 points behind.
Or 25. Whatever.
25. But yeah, and then you were down there a little bit below that.
Mm-hmm.
Zach Zach had a pretty powerful combo. We were looking through things at the end. I don't know how much of it was on the stream. I know some of it wasn't, but we were looking through some of the other
mogul
cards, and it seems like Zach got very fortunate with the way his executive, his mogul, and the shows that he got versus what we got all worked so well together.
Yeah.
That doesn't seem like something that would happen all that often.
No.
So
basically, the executive that he had lets him get the genre bonus.
Yes.
Like at the beginning of his turn.
Yeah.
Every turn or every round.
Which is crazy good.
Which is crazy good. But he kept taking it for the ads because the mogul card that he got lets you get viewers, aka points, equal to as much ad revenue as you got that round. And he went all sports, and since he was able to just churn through the ad deck, he was able to get all of the special ads that
can also attach as a star.
They add viewers and not just money. So he was getting money and viewers and attaching 2 ads to each of these. So he was getting almost 15 points a turn.
It was crazy.
It was nuts.
Once it really came online there at the end, it was rapidly like, all right, well, GG Zach, and we'll go from there. That was more or less all I played. We did have the anniversary Sunday night, but I got there. I had to work a 12-hour shift, so I missed.
And you weren't there Wednesday.
And I wasn't there Wednesday. And so really the only game I got to play was a one round of a 3-player game of QE that we then restarted as a 4-player QE. And QE continues to be really good. I like QE a lot. I actually managed to win, which was... Or no, I didn't. No, I didn't.
All right.
I managed to not lose immediately by
not
being
the first
big
loser.
Spender. Yeah. I did spend the least, actually, dramatically so. Like, I fucked up. I spent so little.
Oh,
it was clearly one of those.
Spending way more.
Yeah. I didn't realize quite how extravagant it was, but it was enough. Like, I was the 4th player, so I did the very last bid, and I bid that one like the highest that I'd seen anything in any of my bids, like way crazy high.
Yeah.
And I didn't think anybody would go over it because 2 of the players we were playing with already had 4 industries and had been bidding very high. So I felt like they probably both knew they were in the running for that, hey, we're going to lose spot. And then Wes was going against me, and I thought he wouldn't go as high as what I had put down because I knew I was way behind everyone. So I was like, I got a ton of room to do a big one. And then Wes went way over it, like another 10,000 over my already big one. Mm-hmm. So he won it, and then he was the person who spent the most and lost. And it was like,
nerd.
Damn it, Wes. So, but yeah, QE continues to be real good. So yeah, that's
cool.
all I've played. Board game wise.
Neat.
Neato. What about you? You played a bunch of stuff.
I have played an absolute fuckload of board games between game night and then the board game anniversary. So, you talked about Japan for an hour. I'm going to talk about actual board games for an hour.
Yep, so buckle in. Which I'll talk about Japan again for an hour because I still haven't told Jeff anything about Japan. So I'll just have to...
I listened to the episode, so
did you?
I don't have to listen to you just say it again.
Oh, but I don't feel like I got to tell you about it. No.
I was literally in chat as you were recording.
This is true.
Yes.
But yeah, so
we're gonna start Wednesday. We were at the same place for Wednesday and the board game anniversary. We're at the Game Lounge.
That was an inadvertent scheduling mistake.
Yeah.
I didn't do that. The person I tasked with scheduling the anniversary did that.
Yes.
So throwing V under the bus.
Yes. So we're gonna start with the Marvel Champions, because of course we are. Zach and I decided to give it another shot against the Wrecking Crew, who have originally wrecked us in the first one.
Yeah, real bad.
We only beat 1 of the 4. In this one, we finally beat 2 of the 4, and then we're officially trounced very quickly after that. I was playing Iron Man, and Zach didn't have any of his stuff, so he was just playing with one of my decks. He was playing She-Hulk. And it was going much better. We kind of went after the weak guy and got him out real fast because he was the one that actually screwed us in the first time that we fought against him. He has a taunt, basically, that gives him a bunch more health, and you have to attack him, and you can't attack anyone else until he's damaged in some way to get rid of those cards.
Okay.
So we went after him real fast because he starts with the lowest hit points anyways, and got him out. Then we started going for like the leader guy. He has a crowbar. He's named Wrecker.
Yes.
And
it's his crew.
We got so close to defeating him, and then I can't remember his name. He's basically the juggernaut of the crew. Like, he looks very similar.
Okay. He's like possible infringement notice.
It's literally Marvel, so they can't possibly infringe against themselves. But he's like the ramming, like, stocky bulldozer. Maybe that's his name.
Bulldozer?
Yeah.
Sure.
That's his name now.
Sure.
So I had to shuffle.
May thinks that guy's an asshole as well, by the way. She agrees with you.
I had to shuffle and had to draw another encounter card from that. And so the 3 cards that we drew were his main weapon, and then he immediately attacks with plus damage, and then he immediately attacks with plus damage. So he was already the one that did the most damage, and then he got like an extra 5 damage on top of that. I had to defend from a previous attack. Then this dude attacked twice and destroyed me. He did like 15 damage in one encounter phase. So I was out. He also one of their side schemes had gone off, which makes you discard 10 cards.
Oof.
And Iron Man's about getting all of his tech out.
Yeah.
I was able to save 1 tech card before I had to shuffle, but the one I couldn't save is the one that gives me plus 6 hit points. It's like the main armor for him. And I had everything else out, but my hit points were at like 10 when they should be at 16. And so I just got destroyed. And Zach was quickly destroyed just after that.
So the Wrecking Crew continues to wreck.
Yes, the Wrecking Crew continues to be difficult. Only like that one turn, I was able to get my rocket boots out that let me go aerial, which let me use my visor that lets me take thwart off of a scheme. But if I'm aerial, I get to take I get to thwart every scheme.
Oh,
yeah, and there's 5 schemes going in this, so that's like huge. Even if it's just 1, but it's still nets 5.
Right.
But I was able to do that for 1 turn before I got absolutely destroyed.
Oof.
It was probably the biggest hits I've ever taken. And I didn't have any allies out to be able to do any like soaking. He didn't have any allies out because they had all died. So yeah, another game of the Wrecking Crew.
Do you think they'd be any easier with like 3 players? I know we've said before that Marvel Champions should definitely stick at 2 mostly, but do you think that this would be one that would be easier with another player?
Maybe, just because, I mean, they still attack everyone every round. It's not like you're thinning the attacks out. It's just, there might be a person that has an ally out that at that time, but...
Or then you have like 3 people doing damage and stuff each round.
But their
health is...
Their health is
percentage taller, yeah.
Yeah. Because, instead of 14 or instead of 28 health, they're at, 42 health.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Cool. So that was Marvel Champions.
Yep.
What else?
Continuing on Wednesday, I was like, I want to play more Undaunted. So I've been trying to play more Undaunted. And so I played Zach in Undaunted with a couple more scenarios down the road. I think I've done the first 3. This might be the 4th one. I think I skipped one in there just to get because it has like an introduction of a mechanic scenario, and then it has a give that to both players scenario after that. So we did that one, which was like full on machine guns for both sides. And capture 6 objective points, control points worth of objectives. Because certain tiles are worth 1, certain tiles are worth 3, certain tiles are worth 2. So it depends on where it is on the board for how valuable it is.
Okay.
I was doing well. I caused a bunch of casualties to Zach first. The whole thing was, in this scenario, only riflemen can control at this point. And we got the machine guns out, and they have a new system where they can cause suppression, but they don't cause casualties, but they roll 4 dice instead of 2 dice. But the next time you have to use that guy, you have to spend a card just to flip him back over.
Okay. So
I was doing real well, and I had guys on both objectives that I needed. And I was giving Zach like 8+ rolls to do casualties, and he was rolling them every fucking time. Like, no matter what I did. Well, I couldn't do anything because all they can do is stand there until I draw the right cards, because it's like a deck builder. You only have 4 cards. You play 1 for initiative, and then you use the other 3. And he either did casualties to me right as I needed, or it was about to draw the card, because a casualty first comes out of your hand, then it comes out of your discard, then it comes out of your deck. And if you don't have any at all to discard, the token comes off the board until you play the card again and it comes back on the board.
Okay.
So he was rolling like God and pissing me off to no end because I need like he was playing the Germans, I was playing the Allies or the Americans, and he was at disadvantage like the whole time. Like I needed 6+, 50/50s to casualty where his guys were, and he needed the 8+ for me.
Right. And
he was just rolling the 8+s like crazy, and I was just not doing anything. So it just ended up being where I had to. He did like 4 casualties to one of my squads on 8+ in like 2 rounds. And that means I had to march my other rifleman all the way across the board to hit the position. And it got to the point where he just casualtied out all my riflemen where I couldn't activate them anymore. And then I just conceded.
Okay.
Yeah. Because it technically doesn't end until he removes the tokens from the board, which means the squad is pinned.
Oh, okay.
Basically eliminated.
Yeah.
But,
so yeah. Sounds like that one went kind of how real life went, with the Americans getting
destroyed.
Oh, you were the Americans.
That's indeed what I said.
Oh, I don't know. Somehow I heard that Zach was. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know either. The special mechanic was neat because it makes him skip a turn. But I look forward to getting more of the advanced stuff, just like the first time I played it, to get more of the advanced cards that let you, like there will be cards that let you activate other squads. Like there's a platoon scout, basically, like a real high level commander scout that lets you move other tokens with its power instead of you having to have the rifleman card to move the rifleman.
Okay.
Yeah. Because that's what I ran into, where I couldn't move the guys I needed because I couldn't get them.
Makes sense.
But I still like Undaunted, but man, he was pissing me off so bad with just how he was rolling.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing I could do about it except nothing. Like just take it.
Oh yeah, no, I totally get that frustration when somebody's rolling amazing and you're rolling like shit. Especially like if he has to roll higher to hit things and he has no problem with it, and you have to roll lower to hit things and you can't fucking do it.
Yeah,
that sucks.
Yes, but I still like the game. I look forward to the North Africa one. It's supposed to add vehicles, and I look forward to getting into. We still haven't used mortars. We still haven't used snipers. And we haven't used any of the Squad C stuff. Basically, we've only used A and B squad. There's a Scout A, Rifleman A, and B. And then there's basically another third as many squads. So, yeah, same with machine gunners. But snipers and mortars seem like they have cool rules in there.
Awesome.
Like snipers can move onto spots that haven't been scouted yet, where riflemen have to wait for a scout to go through, check out the tile, put the scout marker there. Then the riflemen can move through. Because the riflemen don't want to move through an like unscouted area and because they'll be murdered.
Right. Snipers are sneaky, though.
Yeah, solo.
Yeah.
I feel I played something else on Wednesday, but
I don't know. I wasn't there, so I can't help you out.
Has escaped me.
The horror.
Indeed. Anyways, we move on to Sunday, Board Game Anniversary Day.
Yep.
We had decided to play some of the big games because it's an all-day affair. Normally our Wednesdays are like 6 to close.
Yeah.
Where our weekend events are like whenever they'll let us show up to whenever they kick us out.
Yeah, like 10 to 11 in the morning until oftentimes like 11 midnight later.
Yeah.
If I can get the right place and I can schmooze them. And this one ended up being 11 to 11.
Yeah, and it wasn't as packed as previous years anyways. So,
no.
Well, I wasn't at last year's because I was in a hospital bed.
Yeah.
So this has been the best game night in years for me.
Anniversary,
yes. So we started off with playing the King's Dilemma, which Zach picked up like quite a while ago when he first started hearing really good things about it.
Yep.
And we got 2 games of that in. I don't want to go into too spoiler territory because it is a majority narrative game. Some would say. Others would say, fuck the narrative, I want to get the most points.
Yeah, why roleplay when you can score points?
Yes, which I don't know how that will affect the long game, or like how points matter really, because there's no victory condition in the book, because there's not a mechanic for that end game yet.
Okay.
Yeah. So if anyone's playing the like Reigns app, where you have like money and food and military strength, etc., and then you have these 6 different things that sort of consist of any kingdom. morale, etc. And then they have a bunch of positive. They have like 14 positive or 15 positive, 15 negative. They can go up or down. And you go through as this council under the king to vote on, I'm trying to think of a non-spoilery example. A bunch of windmills burned down. Do you pay to rebuild these windmills, or do you be like, you should have had some more guards, fuck off? But you can see what the consequences are going to be. If you pay to build new windmills, your money's going to go down, but your food's going to go up. But if you don't, like morale might go down, and then you might get like a sticker. There's like 100 stickers in this thing that will get signed by whoever was the majority vote on the yay or nay, and will become like a positive or negative consequence for future games.
Okay.
It's like a whole end of the board has all these sticker spots.
Okay.
And you vote with these power tokens, and whoever wins, the power tokens kind of go to a neutral pool for the next round, where people that pass can get those split amongst them.
Uh-huh.
So, like, if there's a bunch of power there, you're like, I don't even care about whatever this vote is. I want, if I'm the only one who passes, I'm going to get 6 power, or I'm going to get 3 power, or whoever's going to get the tiebreaker is going to do whatever with their power. 2 games in, still don't really know what the overall objective is, but the story's been interesting. All the cards have enough story on them to where you're not like reading paragraphs out of a book or anything like that. It's a nice bite size of flavor. And as you unlock, if you have different events, it'll make you open up like this whole horde of envelopes, and they'll have more narrative that branch off. So if you make a decision about like putting some patrols on the border, like the people on the other side of the border are like, hey, maybe you don't need those there. And you can pull them back or try to go to war. And if you pull them back, you might become friendly, or if you don't, you might become angry. And that depends on which envelope that you open. And that changes. I mean, I've already seen some splits in the story that I would be like, this game would have to totally change because of decisions.
Okay.
Yeah. Each faction that you play as is super interesting. Bunch of flavor text on the back of each of these. Which I don't remember exactly how Zach said that we were. Zach had informed us that we were only allowed to choose based off of their motto, which I think in the rules you were actually allowed to read what kind of faction they are. Yeah. Because they are all fairly different. Of course, Paul chose the one that is like the religious fundamentalists. Uh-huh. And
sounds like Paul.
But he didn't know that. He just went off the motto. And certain roleplay things would have come up to where his faction would have been like, absolutely not. And he's just like, well, that gets me more points, so I'm going to do that. Yeah. Yeah. Which each faction has like an overall achievement that they're looking for that is unique to that faction. Okay. Which most of us don't know how or what they do yet because they haven't come up. But do
you know what they are?
Yeah. Okay. But it's just like literally like 2 words. It's like embrace this or destroy that. Okay. But you have no context of what it actually is or how you get to it or anything like that. Okay. Yeah. But overall, it's just sort of like if you're in first place, you get prestige. If you're in last place, you get craven. And we don't really know what that means yet. Cool. Well, I look forward to maybe some more RPing and narrative stuff into it, and less of the like, I'm going to metagame this because that's what I get points. Yeah. Because we're not sure how points really work. And all the points have done so far is be like, okay, your line is the next king. But being the next king it literally doesn't matter because the king is worthless. The king actually takes no role in the game whatsoever. You're just the council running the kingdom. Okay. Yeah. Weird. The king may as well be useless or not there. It's kind of like Game of Thrones. Yeah. Yeah. The king's sort of useless. It's the hand and the council that's actually running things. Okay. Yeah. But I've enjoyed the story. The story's very good. Cool. Yeah. I look forward to how that's going to evolve. Right on. And each game was like, I don't know, the first game was about an hour and a half, second game about the same. But I've heard it could be a lot shorter. Yeah. So. Okay. You'll be able to hopefully knock some out and get us updates. Yeah, we're doing 5-player, so we have to get enough people in the right place at the right time to play. So right. Okay. Yeah. After that, we decided to go with, another solidly light game of doesn't take very long at all, also known as a 5-hour game of Nemesis.
Yeah. Yeah, I got there at the tail end of that. There were aliens everywhere in your spaceship and fires and doors and...
Yes.
Yeah.
Paul got the super fancy edition. Well, not the super fancy edition, because I think the top tier edition had like painted minis where his were washed. But the wash still looked good. So Nemesis is an alien game.
Yes.
You all get personal objectives. So it starts out cooperative, and then you get your objectives later. Or you don't choose your objectives until like the first alien appears or something like that. And it's either like kill this color player, or make sure the ship gets to Earth, or research the alien, or et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
So it can turn sort of semi-cooperative there.
Okay.
Our game, that didn't really happen because Zach was the only one with a semi-cooperative objective, and he had to kill Ryan's character, and it just like wasn't, well, it almost happened early, but then it ended up, not happening.
Yeah.
We screwed up a bunch of rules the whole time, and like I had seen at the top of every event card, I was like, hey guys, why does it have the alien symbols and then like a directional thing? Because whenever you move into another room, you roll a D10 that's like 1 through 4 on both sides, and then it has like add a sound to every location or add no sound.
Yeah.
Or add a noise to every location that doesn't have noise. So...
Yes.
Aliens are supposed to move.
Yes,
and we weren't moving the aliens.
Oh.
Yeah. Because I had asked that earlier, and they were like, Paul's like, I don't know, it means so-and-so this and something. And he was like, event cards move them. And I was like, okay, you've read the rules. I'm not going to question this. And then we got like 6 rounds in, and I was like, you sure this isn't supposed to move them? And then they looked at it, I was like, yep, that's supposed to move.
Great. Classic Paul move right there.
Yeah. So I was like, yeah, the aliens aren't moving unless we make noise next to them. That seems like a weird mechanic. No, they just move. But that came to our extreme advantage later when the queen popped up, who is like, because there's queens, breeders, adults, creepers, and then like the little face huggers.
Okay.
The queen popped up for a turn. I used my ability where I can look at the top of the event deck and be like, all right, the queen's going to move into the room with 2 people in it. I'm just going to put that event right on the bottom of the deck, and maybe the second card will do much better. And it did, because some of the rooms have technical hallways on them, as like air ducts.
Yes.
And the queen was just like, nope, I'm going back into the ducts. And she just disappeared for the rest of the game.
I mean, that's seems like a safe plan when there's aliens about.
Yes.
Just disappear into the ducts.
Game's not easy. Like what Ryan had played it before, and he was like, no, we didn't even get anywhere close to doing as well as we were in this game.
Yeah.
But you just go to a bunch of rooms, you interact with some stuff breaks. If there was more of the like tradery mechanics where someone would want to like break the engines so we don't go get to where we're supposed to be going, or change the coordinates to deep space because you want to get like rid of the ship or blow the ship up. There's a self-destruct in there.
Yeah.
It was cool. I would look forward to a game of where we knew the rules better, where it was much shorter.
Yeah.
Because at one point I was just trying to be like, all right, guys, come on.
Yeah.
Is it your turn? Okay, play your cards.
I mean, I got to think the alien just not moving for several rounds probably made that much easier than it would have been.
They also weren't spawning as much anyways.
Okay.
Because once we had gotten to the point where we were actually spawning more intruders, sorry.
Yes.
Because we had enough noise tokens down to where it was going to be a problem. That's when we figured out the movement thing, because normally there wouldn't be even anything on the board anyways.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I think there was only 3 intruders on the board when we actually remembered to do movement correctly.
Okay.
I liked a little contagion mechanic where, like, if you get one of the like chest bursters on you, or you have to do a melee attack, or there's a bunch of other stuff that does contagion, you get a little trash card, because it's like deck building. You have 10 cards, and
okay.
It's just basically a useless card, but it has one of those like little gibberish text like decrypto, and you can't tell what the text is until you put it into the little red film thing to see read what the words are. And those can mean that you're infected or not. If you're infected, you get a chest burster, and you have to go to the surgery place to get the thing removed, because if you get a second one, you die.
Okay.
But if you have a bunch of them in your deck at the end of the game, whether you get out of the escape pod or you go back into hibernation, you have to check all of them. And if any of them are infected, you shuffle them all back in, and then you draw 5. And if any of them come out as the infected contagion, you die. So you don't want to leave with contagion either.
Okay.
So you can't just build up a bunch of that and be like, all right, I'm out of here, guys. No, man, you're not out. Wes had 5.
Oh, wow.
And left and hibernated. And we're like, well, Wes is dead. None of them were infected.
Oh, lucky Wes.
Lucky Wes.
Yeah, because if you had 5 and one of them was infected, you'd be fucked.
Well, you have to shuffle them back in, and then with all the rest of your cards, and then you draw them again.
Oh, I thought so if you had like 10 infected, like say you had 10 of those cards.
Yeah.
And 2 were infected. Like you look at them all at the end, you find 2 are infected. I thought you shuffled those 10 cards up and drew 5, so you might get 5 non-infected.
No, you shuffle them in with all your regular action cards as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you draw 5 right at the end.
And see if you are officially screwed or not.
Does it still have to be a yes, you are infected contagion, or is it any contagion?
I don't recall, because we didn't have to go to that step because Wes didn't run into any that were infected.
Cool.
But it was a neat game. Yeah. Nemesis. Like I said, Paul has all of it. There's a whole expansion that just adds another type of alien in there. It's like, it's all about like mutation and these. Did you ever play Dead Space?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Necromorphs.
Okay.
They're just necromorphs. That's all they are.
Okay.
It's the necromorph expansion.
Sure.
But they can eat the smaller versions to become bigger versions.
Oh.
And then the players can get mutated and get like powers or something.
Okay.
And then there's a whole other expansion that has like a bunch more, like it doubles the amount of classes. And apparently there's an expansion that you're supposed to play after you play a regular game of it, where it's another crew that comes in and it's like, oh, we found the ship that had the thing that you just played, and then you play through that game based on whatever game you just played. But it's much shorter. It's only like 6 rounds, where regular Nemesis can go 15.
Oof.
Yeah. We only got past the hibernation pods unlock halfway through, and we hibernated basically the turn or 2 after that.
Okay.
Because we had basically all gotten our objectives except Zach. And so we're like, all right, I'm going to go back to sleep. Everything's going to be fine.
Just hope for the best.
Yes. Nothing could possibly go wrong.
No. Nothing has ever gone wrong from people going back into hypersleep or hibernation or anything.
In an alien-infested ship.
Yeah. Or, without making sure they were clear of potential contaminants.
We did know, I was the only one that ever looked at the engines, but my objective was just to research the alien twice, which is an interesting mechanic, because you research like dead bodies or eggs or alien corpses.
Uh-huh.
And each one has a weakness that will unlock that makes the aliens easier to defeat or less mobile, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
Like the one we unlocked was the aliens can't go through doors unless it's the queen. So we were able to shut doors effectively against the aliens. They couldn't smash through them.
Okay.
I don't remember what the other one was, but they were interesting. Like they would be totally worth doing, but they're hard to get because you have to pick up an alien corpse and bring it to the laboratory and then use 2 action cards to use and you only have like 5 cards. So it was neat. I like Nemesis. I look forward to trying that again, but it's one of those games that's hard to get to the table because it is so long.
Yeah. I would definitely be down to try it sometime. Maybe
and it's big.
Maybe if there's another holiday where we're all off on a weekday together, we can do a stream of it or something.
Yeah. Yeah, because people on Slack were saying it can play in 2 hours with 5 people that are knowledgeable enough. And I think after all of us have played once, we can get to that point fairly fast.
Yeah.
Because a lot of that, at least an hour of that was just looking at the rule book.
Right.
Because it's a good rule book, but there's so many edge cases.
Yeah.
And like easy to miss rules and things like that.
That is often the case with those kind of like big mini thematic games.
Yes. Yeah. But it was a lot of fun. It was cool.
Right on.
Next up, another big thematic game.
Yeah. You guys went hard.
Yes. We went and played just right after that. Who Goes There? It is based off of the book version that inspired The Thing, the famous John Carpenter movie.
Yes. Real good movie.
Yes, it's going to be at the Alamo soon. Yeah.
I think it's on the day we record. Oh. So, unfortunately.
Well, it sucks to be you guys.
Guys, I'm real sick.
I'm going to be in this movie theater watching the thing again for like a lot. Anyway, nice components. The player boards were like double layer, but the back layer was super like cardstock.
Yeah.
With the front layer being like punchboard. So it was kind of like those new Terraforming Mars boards, but where like the back was just the old Terraforming Mars quality.
Right.
So I felt like I was going to punch through the board each time. You have like 5 actions. There's like inside and outside. As you're trying to get helicopter parts, but no one starts as the thing. There's a deck of 12 cards that like every time the thing attacks you when you're trying to search for helicopter parts, you take one of these vulnerability cards.
Yeah.
Only one of the 12 has a infected thing on it. Where, I mean, you're all looking at them in secret, so you don't know if anyone's infected. You just know that they've taken vulnerabilities. But every time that you trade with someone, they have a chance. All the action die in the game are like 50-50 D6s. And you have like a 50-50 chance of just like not, when you do the trade, you just get the card with your opponent that has a vulnerability card because your opponent could be infected, so they could infect you in a trade. But you have these little clicker things that have like a green side and a red side. And then it has a little slider that will normally stay in the middle, but you'll slide it to like down to show all green or up to show infected. If you're human, you just always show green, but you look at them in secret as you pass them to each other.
Okay.
But if you're infected, you can show green or show infect. If you show infect and the person that you have given it to sees that, they are now infected. But you don't know this.
The other players don't
know this. The whole point of the game is to get through, like, I think it was 18 rounds, and you can do like a little bit shorter game where it's like 5 each.
Okay.
But you're crafting in this game. So there's like nails and screws and alcohol, and you're building clubs and lanterns because all these events you can get extra dice if you have a lantern, whether it's a red or a blue because you're throwing the lantern at them or whatever.
Uh-huh.
You can get a flamethrower. I got the flamethrower. I was real excited because I was actually the guy, McCready, that had the flamethrower.
Yeah, oh, cool.
And then everyone gets experience by searching, which unlocks extra item slots or a unique power or an extra action or extra stamina because you're always having to burn stamina if you're outside as the temperature drops. So there were some unique player power in there. Some were better than others. Like Paul's whole special ability was he gets an extra item slot.
Oh, okay.
I mean, you normally hold 5, so he can hold 6.
Yeah.
Where mine was, every time I'm outside, I can just take a swig of my flask. I was the alcohol guy.
Okay.
He had a ton of alcohol in his personal deck, but you had a 50-50 chance to just get a free stamina while you're outside, which is a big deal, because you can normally only get stamina while inside on a 50-50, or if people have discarded 5 cards and you throw matches on the bonfire, and everyone inside gets 2 stamina. But we ran into problems where, like, the door would lock, and you can't go from outside to inside or inside to outside when the door's locked. And so at one point for 2 rounds in a row, we were just stuck inside. You can't get experience inside. All you can do is get materials, and that's it.
Yeah, that
materials
sucks.
And rest. But we wanted to be outside searching through the phase decks to get more helicopter parts, because you need 6 helicopter parts per human at the end of the game to leave. Once you get to the helicopter phase, the leader's like, all right, this is where the game turns into a negotiation game. Who do you think was infected? Did the infected person die before they can infect anyone? Who do you think's infected? Who do you think's not? And then the leader will choose who's coming and who's not. But if people are like, no, we think you're infected, the leader can step down or they can leave by themselves. But the infected cannot get on the helicopter with no humans. So there has to be at least one human leaving on the helicopter with an infected person.
Okay.
And the infected cannot knowingly leave with only infected on the helicopter.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's possible for infected to not know who other infected are. Say it like one person gets so-and-so, but then they inevitably get another person, but they can always show green and not always infected. So you never really know exactly who was infected after that first one.
Fair enough.
And then you have to, so once you get your departure, be like, all right, you're on the helicopter, you add up how many helicopter parts, well, you reveal if you were infected or not.
Yes.
And then you need as many helicopter parts as there were humans left in the game.
Okay.
So if there was 1 infected and 5 players, you need 24 parts.
Okay.
And it doesn't matter if they're alive, they're dead, if they left on the helicopter or not. It's just how many were in the game. Because all of the helicopter parts of all of the infected that are on the helicopter now increase that difficulty. Because the infected want to be on the helicopter and them not to have enough parts.
Okay.
Yeah. So you would need 24. But say there's 3 infected on the helicopter with 2 humans. You only need 12, and then everyone gets a die roll that's a d6 to add as many helicopter parts. But all the infected also get that. So they get as many helicopters parts as they have, plus the die roll. All the infected add to that 12 difficulty. So it could be in the 30s plus. And for 2 people to be able to get above that would be nigh impossible.
Uh-huh.
So it depends on whether it's like... then you go to whether you hit those or not. And then if the humans got an infected on the helicopter but had enough parts, they throw a flare in the face of the infected and throw them out the door. Or if they don't have that, the infected infect all the humans. They get back to civilization. The world is doomed. But it's the same way if you only had 2 humans left, which was what happened to us. Zach was infected. He wasn't able to infect anyone before he died because a boiler exploded in the round event, the camp event, and killed him and killed Ryan. And Zach had just gotten the infected card just before the explosion, so he didn't even have a chance to infect anyone. But that meant there were still 4 humans, and only... and then Wes was outside searching, and he didn't repair the door before he searched, and he drew a door destruction card, which put the last strike on me and killed me. And so they only had two people to go on the helicopter, and they didn't have enough parts. And so there was only humans on the helicopter, but they didn't have enough parts, so they crashed out in the middle, and everyone died.
Well, that sucks.
Yeah.
But hey, civilization gets to keep going. So
true. So yeah, that was the very end of the night.
Okay.
Yeah, Who Goes There was interesting. I liked it. I now that I see more of like how well the items work, I would go for some different items that add more die, because there's 3 phases. You need 1 success in phase 1, 2 in phase 2, 3 in phase 3.
Yeah.
And those phase 3 ones are brutally hard, and you can only take 3 hits before you're dead, and you're just instantly dead. And most of them only do 1, but you have 5 or 6 turns of trying to do that and trying to not take strikes at the end of the turn. So it's not easy in any way, but
okay.
Yeah, it was interesting. Sadly, we didn't get to do a lot of the who's infected, who's not. I mean, I ended up having 4 of those 12 cards and not getting infected. So, but everyone thought I was because I had the majority cards.
Oh.
Yeah.
So when Zach died, did he reveal that he was infected?
You don't reveal until the end.
I was going to say that would suck.
You don't reveal until the helicopter phase. After the helicopter has departed and your crew is locked in.
Okay.
That is the only time that you reveal.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, it was interesting. I look forward to playing that one again as well.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind trying it. I've played a couple like social deduction themed as the thing kind of games, and most of them have not been great. Yeah. So
this one's pretty okay. I know they're coming out with like a 2.0 version on Kickstarter here pretty soon.
Okay.
With an upgrade pack for people that bought the big fancy collector's infected edition or whatever it's called. That's what Paul had. It's a crazy huge box.
Yeah, it was massive.
Yeah, but it was super cool.
Right on. Cool. Well, that pretty much catches us all up then on what we've been playing.
I still got it under Japan time.
Yeah, you did. You totally reasonable amount of time. So yeah. Anything else exciting happening in your life the last week or so? Because you were sick the last time we recorded.
Yes. Yeah.
So you're like 2 weeks gone.
Yeah. And I already talked about the Wednesday.
Yeah.
No, not really. Nothing spectacular.
No good movies, no special video games or anything.
Haven't. I've been digging back into the World of Warcraft a little bit.
Oof, that's dangerous.
I think I've talked about, I got the expansion for real cheap, and I didn't have any of the content, and I still got a bunch of old friends that play.
Yeah.
So I've been playing a little bit of that. I've sort of finished all the content now, though. Like all my friends are super hardcore nerd mythic raiders.
Yeah.
So they dragged me. They carried me through a normal difficulty of the latest raid. So I've finished all the raid content on normal for the Battle for Azeroth already.
Okay.
Defeated N'Zoth. Got the achievement.
Nice.
All the bleep bloops.
Right on.
I've been playing the fuck out of Hunt Showdown.
Yeah. I keep seeing you pop up on Steam that you're playing.
It's the same old crew that I played World of Warcraft with that have been playing games every night for decade plus.
Okay.
A lot of PC stuff. And Hunt Showdown has been our game to go to for quite some time now.
Okay.
Super brutal, late 1800s weaponry, Louisiana swamp with crazy, gross, grimy monsters.
Co-op?
PvPvE.
Okay.
So you can go in solo, duo, trio. There's only ever 12 players on the map, and then you have to get these clues at the various compounds. And it's just super gross. It's just like corpses everywhere. Like everything's gone real bad.
Okay.
Nature is gross.
I mean, it is in real life too, but yeah.
It just came out on PS4. They just had their 2-year anniversary on PC. It's by Crytek, same people that did all those wonderful Crysis games and the Cry engine, etc.
Okay.
But there's there's 12 people and you want to kill each other, but really you want to get the bounty. There's always like 1 or 2 big monsters that you want to get the clues to find out where they are. You want to kill them and then you want to extract because that's how you get a bunch of money and experience. And then each one of your hunters can level up with different perks that makes it so they can run longer or they don't sway as much when they're aiming down sights.
Sure.
But it's permadeath. So if that hunter dies, it's over.
Oh, okay.
You can get picked up, but you have like 3 little health bar chunks. Once you lose your last chunk, you're dead. Dead. Or if your team gets wiped, you're done. But you can always loot the people that you killed. So you can get their guns that are usually much better and more expensive, or they have the fancy legendary skin on their Mosin Nagant rifle, and now you have the Bone Vive instead.
Oh, okay.
And then there's like prestige ranks and stuff like that. So I've been playing that a lot. I think I have like 160 plus hours logged in that game overall.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been mostly just crushing a shit ton of No Man's Sky again. I've been back on a No Man's Sky kick.
They did a big update recently.
Yeah. They like from when that game launched and was a shit show and everybody hated it to when I started playing.
And rightfully so.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's one of those things they way overpromised and then just couldn't deliver in the time frame. But I do appreciate that they've kept up with it and that they've been releasing these massive updates for free.
Updates, yeah.
Yeah. So the game, when we finally picked it up, Megan and I, over a year ago, like maybe year and a half, 2 years ago, it had already improved dramatically. And then just how much it's improved even since then has been awesome. And so, yeah, really, really enjoying No Man's Sky. Last night, I installed on my Xbox because I got like the Game Pass.
As do I.
I installed Final Fantasy 15.
Yeah.
And I made about 5 minutes into that game.
So you didn't get through the intro.
Yeah, like we were still stuck at the gas station. Like, and I was doing like the little quests for the incredibly scantily clad gas station attendant girl, and I was like, nope. The part of Adrian that used to really like JRPGs died sometime back in the early 2000s. And,
fair enough.
So, yep. Yeah, I didn't like the combat. I didn't like any of the characters. I hated every character that came across the screen. I was like, nope. All right, yeah, done.
Wolfenstein Youngblood is on there now, though.
Oh yeah,
and that's a two-player open world combat.
I might have to check that out.
Co-op. Yeah.
I need to get another controller so I can do some co-op stuff. What little bit of split screen co-op there still is on consoles.
I doubt it's split screen.
It's probably not on that one.
No.
So I need to get another TV and another Xbox and make Megan go play in another room.
Yeah, I don't know if you can play PC to console on that one.
Yeah. So I've been surprised more and more games are doing that, especially like with that Game Pass. So but yeah. That's been about it for me for video games.
I might get into the Division 2 because it was on sale for like $3.
Oh.
Because I think they're going to turn that game more into like a service-y. I mean, it was already kind of games of service. It was sort of like, play this game for like a year or two as we release content updates. But they might not release a Division 3. They might just turn Division 2 into like Rainbow Six Siege, where it just kind of keeps adding on and not like a whole new game that you have to buy.
Okay.
And I think this is their like, hey, everyone should come buy Division 2 now because we're going to release some big expansions or something for it that you're going to spend your money on instead.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I played Division 1 a little bit when it was on Game Pass, and it was okay. It was frustrating because some of the combat was harder than I wanted it to be.
Yeah. Division 2 is apparently a lot better. I played the first one as well,
heard.
but not a whole lot.
I'm still waiting for Steampunk. That got delayed last I heard again. Steampunk 20 something or other.
That's not the name of that game in any way, shape, or form.
What is the name of that game?
Cyberpunk.
So it is
Cyberpunk 2077.
Yes, 2077.
By the people that made
CD
all
Projekt
those Witcher.
Red.
Yes, made all the Witcher games.
Yeah.
And finally, they made a third one, and it was a good game.
Yes. Yeah. So hopefully they can keep that running with Cyberpunk 2077.
I doubt it won't be on Game Pass, but.
No, well, not for a while. And if it is early, then something went terribly awry.
Yeah.
So, cool. Well, then I'm going to say that's good for banter. I do have a big trip coming up. So I'll be on the show this weekend. So it's Monday now when we're recording, and it's Wednesday when you're listening to it. So I'll do Friday. We're going to be doing something special for episode 180. A top 10 or something. We'll have that information out. It was going to be a Q&A, but the Q&A thread didn't get put up in time, so I don't think it's going to be a Q&A. But the next weekend, however, March 7th and 8th, I will be gone because Megan and I came in so under budget on our Japan trip that we were able to take another trip, and I had just enough PTO. So we're taking my birthday weekend and we're going to Silverton. And we're going to do a 2-day, 2 heli drop day down in Silverton. So we're going to do some serious backcountry snowboarding and stuff. So super excited for that.
Woo.
So I continue to just take vacations. And so once again, so next week, we'll all 3 probably be on the show. And then the following week, it'll be back down to just 2. That's going to be 2020. Is just back and forth, 2 and then not 2, 2 and then not 2, 2 and then not 2.
I mean, I got nowhere to go until Geekway.
Yeah, so you'll be the one, the consistent one. Zach and I will just rotate in and out.
Correct.
Because Zach's going somewhere in April too.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. So now we can move on from banter stuff. There is no Bloody Minute.
Nope. There's a tournament this Saturday, KO Bowl 2020, and then the new season starts Sunday.
Okay.
So this weekend's the big launch of the next season and a tournament.
So when you say the launch of the new season, preseason games start then?
We are not doing a preseason for this.
Oh.
It is you just go.
Okay.
Yep. Because everyone is starting a brand new team, so everyone's on the same layer. We're going longer, so we're playing as many games as we would normally with a preseason, but we're just gonna fucking go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Because a lot of people weren't doing the preseasons, and the people that were taking advantage of it by playing, let's say, people that are far less skilled, or they would all try and schedule games against Thursby because he was a halfling team and they could just pound on him.
Okay.
So yeah, no preseason this season.
Okay. Cool. Then yeah, Bloody Minute will be returning as some of that goes down.
Yep.
No Kingdom Death Hour because you were supposed to play last week, but you got sick.
Yeah.
Which made you miss Kingdom Death and the show.
Yep. And a sweet Jurassic Park themed escape room / birthday event with Ant. I had already paid and registered, and I was like, Zach, I'm too sick. Do you want to go to a Jurassic Park themed escape room? And he's like, sure. Yeah. I made him dress up as Ian Malcolm.
Perfect. But yeah, so neither of those two. So I think we're just ready to move on to some news and Kickstarters then. Yeah?
Correct.
So.
First up in news this week, something from last week that you guys ended up skipping, but you saved for me, is because and speaking of escape rooms, there's going to be some Warhammer 40,000 escape rooms opening up in the UK, which is awesome for anyone that lives in the UK, but not me because I don't. Do you know what 40K is?
I do know what 40K is.
It's a grimdark universe of where there is only war.
Yep.
But it's going to be in Nottingham and in the Escapologic sites. I look forward to seeing what that could look like.
Yeah.
But they don't have a lot of details of exactly what these escape rooms are going to be, besides that they are 40K themed.
Hey, you know.
Got my attention.
Maybe you can go murder things. Just a whole lot of murder.
I will absolutely chainsword something in half.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to read the article, so I don't know much about it, and I can't find it now. And so we saved it for you, Jeff.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, I had it, so I was able to.
Yeah. Cool. So yeah, Warhammer escape rooms.
Yep.
Chainsword things.
Yeah.
Next up on news,
Funko Games released that Funkoverse strategy game that I could care nothing.
Correct.
Absolutely nothing.
Less than nothing about.
But apparently a lot of people really fucking love Funko Pops.
Oh yeah.
So it did very well.
Yes.
But now they're making a not Funko game. They're making a Back to the Future board game. It's
yes. So
they just the toy fair is coming up.
Yes.
So a lot of these announcements coming out.
Yeah, it's going to be Back to the Future Back in Time, a fully cooperative game for 2 to 4 players that plays in under an hour. And they turned the clock tower into the dice tower for the game. So, yeah. And you're going to be, it's all the major characters, Marty McFly, Doc Brown, Jennifer Parker, or Einstein the dog.
Yeah.
And you're trying to move around 1955 Hill Valley, collecting different items in order to fix the DeLorean.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. And then do the whole 88 miles per hour into the clock.
Making sure that your parents still fall in love.
Yep. There is a Funkoverse one that is coming out, Back to the Future. So they're releasing 2 different Back to the Future games, which I'm sure won't be confusing at all. And then a different cooperative dice Back to the Future game from Chris Leader and Ravensburger Games that's going to debut also in 2020. So Back to the Future is apparently back in the now, and lots of it. So,
but there will never be a remake. The original writer has been they're I own the rights. There will never be a remake of Back to the Future.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I did not know that. That's good.
Yes.
Cool. Next up on news.
Marvel is getting in on this Villainous game by making a Marvel's Villainous.
Yes. So, yeah. It's just going to be a standalone set of bad guys for Villainous.
Yeah, the games will not be cross-compatible. It's just, here's a Marvel-themed version of Villainous.
Yeah.
And as someone that couldn't give a shit about Disney stuff, and even though Villainous was said to be a good game, I don't care to go out and seek to play it. I am now interested in the Marvel version of this.
There you go. Marvel is one of the ways to Jeff's heart.
Yep.
They've announced some of the villains. So Hela, Thanos, and Ultron. They're using
Remember the movies, everyone?
Different art for all of the villains. Yeah. They're not exactly being subtle with it. That Ultron art is pretty cool. Thanos just looks like Thanos, and Hela kind of just looks like Hela. But yeah, it's set in the world of the comics, supposedly.
Yeah, that just gives them a broader reach for what they can sort of pull from.
Yeah, it definitely looks more, though, like the art style looks like it came from the cinematic universe more.
Not really. These are pretty comic faithful versions.
Yeah.
Well,
and that's one of the things the show's done a pretty good job about, is being true to some of the looks for some of the characters.
Yeah.
At least I've thought.
I don't remember the last time anyone actually cared about the comic version of Hela. So
no, probably never. I'm not sure I like the box for Villainous, though. It's awfully boring.
Remember what Villainous looked like? Well, here's a version of that with Thanos on the front.
And it says infinite power. So
it's the Marvel Villainous infinite power.
Yeah.
Think of all the expansions that they can release for this. I think they must have been running out of Disney villains that people cared about.
Yeah, because they did a bunch of expansions, so they've got a lot of villains packed into it. But yeah, no word on any other ones beyond that. At least not that I saw.
Sounds like around Gen Con it's supposed to be hitting.
Yeah. So yeah, Marvel Villainous. Next up on news.
Remember when you could just be like, hey, I lost this part. Can you send me this part to this board game? Well, Asmodee, now that they own everything, is going to be like, nah,
Yeah, no thanks. So they announced that as of February 18th, so this is all now in the past, it's official. Any game purchased in the U.S. that has damaged or missing components, you have to go back to where you bought it, and then they will fill out a replacement thing and get it sent off and get you a whole new copy of the game. So I don't know, in the Slack channel, Nick made a good point that there's a lot of other things that I think he used bookstores. If he got a book that was missing a page or had damaged pages, he'd just take it back to the bookstore. And I get that. And there's not a lot of things that you go directly to whoever made it. If my GoPro breaks, I'm probably not going to go to GoPro. I'm going to go to REI where I bought it and be like, hey, give me a new GoPro. But also board games are kind of unique in the way that the components work. And they have large amounts of components. And so it makes sense for I think a little bit for the publishers to have spare parts. When a machine breaks at work, I don't go back to the manufacturer of the machine and say, hey, I need we don't take it back to the wholesaler or whatever and be like, hey, we need a whole new machine. No, we contact the manufacturer and we order the specific part that broke and they send us that specific part. So
yeah,
I don't know. I think it's a little wonky, especially considering that they're changing the way this has been for years.
Forever.
Which is a little crazy. So,
but it's also not really going to hurt any big people.
Right.
If I bought a board game at Target, I can just replace it and Target's not going to give a shit.
Yeah.
But local stores are going to be oh, now I have to hand someone this other version of this board game while I wait for Asmodee to send me this. Or now we're wasting an entire copy of a game because of maybe one small part.
Well, although per Asmodee's form here, they say that the store will take your defective copy, the store can put in the request for a replacement. Asmodee will send the replacement, and then when it gets in, they contact you hey, your replacement game is in. Which just, I guess you're waiting no matter what as the customer. If you're missing a piece, you contact Asmodee and you're like, hey, I'm missing this piece. And they're like, okay, we'll send you it, and you still have to wait for it to get there. But this seems like it's just adding more steps and more waste, because now they're going to be like, hey, here's a new copy, give us your defective copy. And then what are they going to do with the defective copies? Ship them back and piecemeal together used good copies?
And then you're returning an entire game when you just needed a part.
Yeah, it seems excessive to me a little bit.
But in a very good blog post, Jamie Stegmaier of Stonemaier Games, in all of his wonderful bloggy wisdom, made a whole post about why this kind of sucks. He basically goes through his initial thoughts, what you said. It seems like an expensive endeavor, and for customers, it's inconvenient to return an entire game, and you're completely out of luck if you bought it secondhand.
Yeah.
For game stores, they've suddenly gained a job that they didn't ask for.
Right.
And then what are other publishers going to do?
So anyhow, big blog post here from Jamie, kind of going over just all of that and talking about for everybody.
Yeah. Of course, he will not be doing this. He goes in here and says he spent $43,000 shipping replacement parts for his games.
Jesus.
Over 9 games, and he spent $43,000 in 2019 replacing parts, not just over
the life of Stonemaier Games.
Yeah. So it is a pretty significant out-of-pocket cost to replace some of those parts sometimes.
Yeah.
But as someone that has used his parts replacement twice, it is extremely convenient.
Oh, yeah.
Because my copy of Scythe ended up having some of the metal, steel pieces
all stuck together.
Yeah. Couldn't get them apart. So I had to hey, can I just get 2? Because these are stuck. And then when we got our review copy of Tapestry, we were missing a whole building. And we had to be like, hey, can you...
I forgot about that.
Can you send us that? And they just sent it.
Yeah.
If only everything was that easy.
Right.
And he gives some tips about hey, list 20 plus components for a game where do you need exactly 25 of this resource to make the game functional, or is there just 5 extra? Where if you're missing one, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah. And then he already kind of does it, his little star resource, use the same resource in multiple games, that so it's easier to maintain a stock of those kinds of resources. I'm sure any game, all 9 of his games have those stars. So somebody's like, hey, I'm missing my stars. He's just like, okay, here's a bin of stars, and just sends them some.
Yeah.
Yeah. Both the actual Asmodee policy and the Jamie Stonemaier blog post will be on the website, so you can read through them on your own if you would like, and see. As always, Jamie puts together a pretty good blog post and talks about things. So,
and I've seen some people talking about this on BGG and the board game subreddit of exactly how this is already affecting people.
Yeah.
So seems like not a great policy, but when you're Asmodee and like are starting to own literally everything, you can kind of do whatever the fuck you want.
Also true.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that moves us. That's done with news though, with Asmodee's change to their replacement parts.
Yep.
And now we can move on to some Kickstarters.
First up in Kickstarters this week is Verdun, Steel Inferno. Pretty well funded, about $67,000 of its $7,500 goal, about 350 backers. Just over 2 weeks left to pledge this one, which you can for $75.
Yeah. So this is a fast-playing card game based on the epic...
I would say war game with cards.
Yes. Based on the Battle of Verdun from in World War I, 1916.
Yep.
Also, interestingly enough, Verdun is where the aliens attack in the Tom Cruise movie, where like he has to keep living the same day over and over and over and over again. They should have called it Live, Die, Repeat, but because that's the name of the book.
Edge of Tomorrow.
Yes, which was a bad name for it. They should have stuck with Live, Die,
Was it
Repeat.
Verdun?
It was.
I thought they...
Well, Verdun was where they first attacked.
Oh, I see.
Like if
that's
all
where
the
their
news
asteroid
things,
or whatever landed?
was in Verdun.
Okay.
Anyhow, so this is coming from a brand new French wargame publisher.
From designers that have made a bunch of
other
war games.
Yeah, I'm not super familiar with war games, but yeah. All the illustrations are from somebody named Tardy.
Jacques Tardy.
Who apparently does a lot of...
He's won a bunch of Eisner Awards. He's like a comic artist.
Yeah, and he does like a lot of World War I art stuff. So
yeah, he's got a bunch of great stuff out there.
Yeah, it immediately gives me kind of a
grizzled
vibe.
Yes.
Yeah.
But he is also another French artist.
Yes. But yeah, so it's just a really simple card-driven war game where you're gonna play opposite sides of World War I and fight out that battle.
You're basically recreating the Battle of Verdun through this game.
Yes.
So there's a bunch of cards, and you're using wood blocks like you do in any great war game to represent your various factions on the board. All the art on the cards is absolutely phenomenal. It's all done by Tardy.
Yeah.
Yep. It's all designed by Walter something. His last name is not.
Yeah. Huh? Philip Thibault, Europa Universalis. I know that game.
Yep. Apparently they just have listed his first name here multiple times.
Yeah.
But he's designed a bunch of war games that I have never heard of, but are all widely regarded on BGG.
Yes.
Seems like there's not a ton of content in the game, though.
Yeah.
Because it has just a couple scenarios.
3 scenarios. The game itself comes with the map, which is actually mounted, which isn't always a given in war games.
Yes.
97 cards, 120 wood blocks, 40 sticks, a rule book, a playbook, 2 player aids, 10 dice, 7 markers, and a bunch of other die cut counters and markers. So,
but it seems like it's only coming with 3 scenarios, one of which is a couple hours long, a campaign that is at longest like 3 hours.
Yeah, so the 1 hour based on the initial German attack that lasts 2 turns. Then a short scenario on the French counterattack, which also lasts 2 turns and takes 90 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And then, the campaign covering February through December plays 6 turns, 3 to 4 hours. So turns are long. They got a bunch of stretch goals that I think might add more stuff. I know I saw a thing for a solo version down there.
Yeah.
Stretch goals. Oh, no, that's the only stretch goal.
Yes.
So, okay. Yeah. And then posters are like swag stuff. Poster, or add-ons are like swag stuff, like a poster, a mouse pad, a t-shirt.
Remember when t-shirts came with Kickstarters?
Yeah. You get a neoprene wargame mat.
You can get a neoprene version for $118.
Yeah, which looks like it might also do the neoprene player mats as well, which you can add. And for 109 euros, you can add on Invasions, a simulation of 300 years of European history.
But that is a $43 neoprene mat.
Oof.
Yeah.
That's not cheap.
But it's like 4 by 2, 4 feet by 2 feet.
It's a big map.
Yeah.
And the map itself is really cool. It's like a topographical map of like where the battle happened. So,
yeah.
They got a bunch of videos about how to play, but
all in French.
They're all in French. Yep. So, Alex from France, you can watch these videos and then tell us how to play.
Yep.
Verdun.
Mm-hmm.
So
it seems interesting, and the art's great.
Yeah, I do love that art.
Yeah.
And yeah, I didn't even see a rules thing in here anymore.
Yeah, there is not a rules in there.
So
I have looked.
Unfortunate.
Looks great.
Yeah. So
game might be good.
I don't know. I don't really play war games.
It has some good pedigree behind it. So.
True. But yeah, so that's Verdun Steel Inferno. Moving on, next Kickstarter.
Next Kickstarter is Anchorman, the game, which is a not funded yet, but it's got $15,000 of its $35,000 goal, over 300 backers, still 3 weeks left to pledge, and you can get this one for about $36 for its deluxe edition, which is $10 for an additional Sex Panther timer.
Yes.
Or you can get it for $26, and then you have one timer instead of two. Anyway, it's a 2 to 8 player party game. It's kind of like Mad Libs, and you have to try and make funny teleprompter things. And if somebody laughs reading your teleprompter thing, you get a point.
Yeah.
And then that's the game.
That's the game.
Yeah. It has metal components because every time someone laughs at something that you wrote, you get a magnet to put on your score sheet because it's like a metal standee in front of you.
Oh, well, that's at least kind of cool.
And all of the like words and prompt stuff is all magnetic. So you're putting magnetic pieces on these prompts.
Okay.
But Anchorman came out in 2004. This is clearly hey, Target has all that weird fucking game shit on the shelves. We're going to make a Kickstarter to be weird shit too.
When did Anchorman 2 come out? Because that came out way after the fact too.
Yes.
I feel like that was just... I feel like it was a couple of years ago, which probably means it was 10 years ago also.
Anchorman 2 was 2013? 2013.
Yeah, so 7 years ago, so almost 10 years ago.
Yes.
Yeah, it does. It feels kind of way out of left field. And like you were watching the video while we were prepping about like the Kickstarter intro video, and it's done very much in the style of like Anchorman with like the narrator narrating. But man, it feels like somebody who wasn't involved at all in Anchorman trying to do something related to Anchorman. Like the jokes just feel off.
Yes.
Like, hey, remember that time when Ron Burgundy said that San Diego stood for whale's vagina?
Those are in the game.
I'm going to say whale's vagina now in this intro
video.
video.
Remember those jokes? It's also really expensive with shipping. Like their shipping for the deluxe edition is $10 to $15. That means that game's going to be $46 to $51.
Yeah, which is crazy for Mad Libs the game.
Yeah. Like even the regular editions are going to be at least $35. It's a party game. You'll probably see it on a store shelf and be like, remember Anchorman?
Anchorman was a thing.
I mean, I could see that the price being so expensive because of all those metal parts.
Yeah, I mean, making a bunch
or
of
at least
things
magnetic.
Yeah.
But I don't know. This is not something that I ever...
No, same.
Yeah,
this is hard pass
like
territory for me.
There's that like Blockbuster game that came out of Gen Con last year. Like there must be a niche in there for something like this, but
yeah. Like, and even throughout the Kickstarter, they sprinkle things in. Like, we teamed up with Matson Creative for all our art, and whammy! Remember when the one character said whammy a lot?
Mm-hmm.
They really knocked it out of the park.
Yes,
cool.
This is clearly not aimed at the enthusiast crowd of the wide world of board games.
No, definitely not.
So that's Anchorman.
Each round begins with a whammy card, a little nugget from the movie that randomly awards or subtracts points from different players depending upon which anchor you are or which scoring magnets you have. Great. That's what I love in a game, is a card that's just randomly like, hey, Adrian, you happen to be playing Ron Burgundy this game. Lose 4 points, dickhole.
Whammy.
Whammy. Yeah, right. Anchorman the game.
Nothing against Anchorman, to be fair.
Anchorman's a great movie.
It was a great movie.
It was a great movie.
Yes.
Some of it doesn't live up as much.
No.
But yeah, Anchorman the game. Go, I don't know, make fun of it if you want to.
Yes.
Or buy it, maybe. Maybe Mad Libs the game is what you've been waiting for. You just needed an Anchorman theme.
Yeah.
In which case, hey, got great news for you. And if you want a Sex Panther cat timer.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's hideous. It is haunting. So, all right, next up on Kickstarter.
Speaking of things that no one cares about, Batman the Animated Series Adventures. Extremely well funded, $871,000 of its $225,000 goal. Over 4,600 backers, still 2 weeks left to pledge, with its most popular pledge being $225. This is coming from the fine people at IDW. They have done a bunch of mini Kickstarters.
Yep.
They have an adventures system. This is the newest game in that system. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was, I think, the previous one.
Yes.
So let's get another IP and make some minis and plug all of that into our system and print money.
Yep. Well, I mean, it works for CMON and it works for IDW. So, yeah, go nuts. I never really watched much of the animated series.
I watched a ton of it.
But it's all the characters from the animated series.
Yep.
You know, it's the big cartoony Joker and all those
classic
villains.
Joker.
Yep. Man-Bat. I forgot about Man-Bat.
Yeah, Man-Bat. Man-Bat was in Arkham Knights, the last Batman game on the PS4.
Okay.
Arkham Knight.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He scares the shit out of you once.
Oh yeah,
you're like, you know how you grapple up to buildings and stuff like that. When you're about to get to the top, it's just there and screaming in your face.
Oh
yeah, it's scared the shit out of me.
But yeah, I don't know anything about how the adventure line of theirs plays.
You roll dice and spend that dice to do activations. You do various scenarios with a bunch of mobsters and minions and enemies, villains. There's a 4-player co-op version. Then there's a 1 versus 4 version, like bad guy versus players.
Yeah.
I mean, the base game is $125, but if you like minis,
there's a shit ton of add-ons.
Get all, like, you get the Mask of the Phantasm expansion. Some of the later stuff that is, super fan servicey.
Oh yeah, for sure.
There's the because you know how there's Bizarro Superman?
Yes.
There's Bizarro Batman.
Oh,
yeah.
Naturally.
Yes.
Current stretch goal is for 940,000 Shadow Assassins villain pack. So is the current stretch goal they're
I don't
working
even
on.
remember what the Shadow Assassin. It's been a long time. I do know Mask of the Phantasm. Mask of the Phantasm in general is a very good movie, based in the animated series universe.
Yeah.
And I always really liked man.
Oh. So each of the heroes, so they do have a little bit about how to play. So each of the heroes has their own custom 3 dice that you roll. So like if you play as Batman, your dice will be different than if you play as Batgirl. And you roll, and that determines like which 3 actions you get to do.
Yeah, and then you after you roll the dice, you coordinate with your team members about like who's going to do what.
Yeah, and you can share actions a little bit with like your neighbors.
Yes. What I was trying to say before, Bruce Timm did all of the art and design for all the characters in the animated series, and Bruce Timm has a fantastic style that I super love. And he has done a lot of really great stuff in the animated world and comic book world, and that's what this is all based off of.
Gotcha.
Yeah, Bruce Timm is great.
Yeah. Big new thing they're adding for this one is these gadget cards. They're like a skill card if you've played the AUGS system. But you can choose to bring them into battle with you instead of your standard hero skill cards, and they give you more tactical choices, and they can kind of combo together. So
yeah, I mean, if you like minis, yeah, there you go.
This is another one that I'm not particularly interested in myself, because Batman doesn't super flip my hair back, especially Batman the animated series, and I'm kind of over mini games.
I am over mini games, but I am not over Batman the animated series.
I've heard really good things about it. I'd never watched it, so I have no connection to it.
It brought us the best voice of the Joker there's been.
Yeah.
Mark Hamill.
Yep. So, yeah, Batman the Animated Series Adventures.
Minis.
BTASA. Batassa.
TAS is also how the animated series has been.
But anyway, that wraps up all of our Kickstarters. So we are done with Kickstarter.
Speaking of done with things,
Uh-oh.
I just realized something has been existing in the comic book world that I have totally blanked on. In the DC universe, they've been doing a crossover for over 2 years of the Watchmen and then the DC universe.
Yes.
Apparently, Dr. Manhattan has been manipulating the multiverse and has been the villain against Superman for the last 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah. Super weird. Especially after that Watchmen TV show came out, I got more into Watchmen. I was like, what the fuck is Dr. Manhattan doing?
I bet Alan Moore fucking hates that.
I bet he despises it. But yeah, it's been Dr. Manhattan versus Superman and the Marvel Universe. He's been manipulating things and creating multiverses and trying to figure out what the hell's he's been fucking with the whole multiverse. And it's so weird that Dr. Manhattan is in regular DC continuity. Mind is blown.
Yeah.
Maybe Alan Moore is just too old to do anything about it anymore, except be older and crazier.
Old man yells at clouds.
Yeah. Old man yells at multi-billion-dollar corporation.
Yes. So I think that brings us around to some listener feedback.
Yes.
I assume you guys read the Still Here, Still Enjoying way back when I was...
Correct.
Did you mention that we do have a couple shirts and we will be doing more shirts?
Maybe we haven't.
From February 3rd?
Yeah, we probably read that. Yes, we definitely read that.
Okay.
We do have a couple shirts.
We do have a couple shirts, and then we will be getting more.
Yeah.
We're probably going to be redoing some art because we don't own a lot of the art that went into the last t-shirts.
Yeah.
And at the risk
we have had permission of using said art, though.
Yes, but I don't know if it went so far as to sell them commercially.
No.
So, we were young and dumb. But yeah, so we might do some new updated art and then do a bunch of merch. I want to do a beanie or a pint glass or something too.
Yeah.
Cheap koozies.
No, nice koozies.
But anyway, we can jump into some listener feedback here, starting with emails.
Emails at milehighgameguys.com. First up in emails, it's from Jimmy, Adrian's Japan. Hey guys, my name is Jimmy, and I'm a longtime listener. Listening to episode 179, and I was grooving on Adrian's section on his Japan trip. Adrian, I'm married to a Japanese woman and have been to Japan many times. Yet you had many experiences that I have not, though some of it seemed maybe rushed for you.
Yes.
On your next trip, I suggest the Peace Park / museum in Hiroshima and the castles in and around Osaka, though there are many beautiful castles all through Japan.
Yes.
How many castles did you see?
We actually didn't. Well, the closest was probably when we went to the Imperial Palace. It's
probably castle-like.
Yeah, it definitely had some old fortifications from when it was a legit castle, but now it's much more of an official government building type stuff, and a lot of it's fairly modern. Especially because turns out a lot of that stuff has been destroyed over the years.
Shocker.
And then rebuilt and then destroyed, both by wars and tsunamis and earthquakes and
the
fires.
United States.
Wars. Yes.
Most recently by the United States.
Yes. So we did a tour of the Imperial Palaces, which is really cool. Because that's where I also learned that Japan apparently has the world's longest running imperial family. They trace it all the way back, crazy far.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. We want to go back to Japan because we want to do a lot of the cultural stuff. We want to go to Hiroshima. We wanted to go to Kyoto, Osaka.
Because you went more north.
Yeah.
Northeast stuff, right?
Well, and we aside from Tokyo and 2 days in Sapporo, it was all ski resorts.
Yeah.
So those aren't exactly, hotbeds of cultural significance.
You can scare everyone with your tattoos.
Yes. Yes. Sneaking into an onsen and hoping nobody yells at me for my tattoo.
Yeah. He continues. I also found this section a little funny and please don't take this the wrong way, But
I'm going to take it the wrong way.
But you totally sounded like a country bumpkin talking about Tokyo. It was really fun to relive that fresh first-time visit through your eyes.
Yeah, I mean, that was one of the things. Like, I've been to big cities before. Like, I've spent a lot of time in New York City. I've been to Chicago several times. My family's lived in St. Louis for years. You know, Denver's not a huge city.
Neither is St. Louis, but...
Huh?
I said neither is St. Louis, but...
True. St. Louis feels quite a bit bigger than Denver. Population-wise, they're not much different, but St. Louis feels significantly bigger.
They have dropped significantly over the past
also true.
Decades.
They've had negative population growth for quite some time. But, you know, and so, yeah, it's not like I've been to Houston and San Antonio. Well, not San Antonio. Houston and, like, Dallas and some of, like, the big cities in Texas and Seattle. Like, I've been to big cities. I've lived in cities for most of my life since I was like a kid. Like I do remember when I was in middle school, yeah, like 6th grade. I lived in Western Kansas in a little shit town called Garden City. And I say a shit town, it's literally a shit town. Like it smells like shit all the time. Fuck Garden City. And I remember when we were moving to Wichita, Kansas, and everybody in my middle school were convinced that I was going to end up like super gangster, tough city kid, and that I'd come back with like a bullet wound and like wearing bandanas and tough. And that
Wichita.
Was for moving to Wichita, Kansas. So there was a time in my life when, yeah, you know, I probably could have easily been described as a country bumpkin. But yeah, that was the crazy thing. Like I'd never been to LA and seeing how big LA was, but LA was all like small buildings just spread way out. And then got to Tokyo, and Tokyo was all huge buildings spread way out. It was something else. Istanbul had a similar feel. Like when we went to Istanbul, I was like, holy fuck, this city is huge.
Yeah.
Like Istanbul is another one of the biggest cities in the world. So yeah, I would not want to live in Tokyo.
No.
It was great to visit. I would not want to live in Tokyo. Too big.
The email continues.
Yes.
There are many things I wish I could have suggested preparations for, but I'll focus on
the Shinkansen.
Shinkansen. As that made me cringe the most, only because I felt you spent needless amounts of money. You should have bought a Japanese rail pass, JR rail pass.
Yeah.
You should have bought a rail pass prior to your trip. These allow you to travel on any rail line, not just the Shinkansen. And while feel expensive up front, totally pay for themselves very quickly. Also, if you don't have a rail pass, you can absolutely get on the Shinkansen with a ticket purchased day of for the green car, but seats are first come, first serve and can sometimes feel like those bits in movies of a third world overcrowded bus where people are hanging off the sides and animals in cages on top. It's one of my favorite ways to travel at times because you get to a really good feel for the workday folks just like us. Anyway, I'm glad you had a great time, and I encourage you to go again. Keep up the great work on the show, guys. Cheers, Jimmy.
So you don't need to cringe about it, Jimmy, because we did look into the JR Rail Pass. They have an awesome calculator on their website where you talk about like what dates you're going to be and where you're going to go and what rail lines you're going to ride. And it runs a little calculator and tells you like, no, you will not save money by buying this. You might save money by buying this, or you will save money by buying this. And we were firmly in the will not save money by buying this. Now, that might have been different because we did end up on the one round of the Shinkansen, end up having to book in the like super fancy car. But it was also entirely our choice to ride not in the green cars because we had all of our snowboard gear. We had our huge fucking snowboard bag and all of our luggage and did not want to deal with having all of that packed into one of those green cars that were packed full of people. So we wanted seats, and we wanted seats next to each other. And ultimately, like even when we got done, we went back and looked through and did the math. And it wasn't that much more expensive to bump up. In fact, like on the trip back to Tokyo, I was already like, well, shit, I kind of wish we had just spent the money to be back in that like first class car, because that was fucking sweet. And our trip came out so under budget. We budgeted $3,500 for the trip, and we just did the math today because we were trying to see like if either of us owed the other one money for like paying for different things. And we did, not including flights, the entire 2 weeks in Japan for $2,700 instead of $3,500.
Nice.
So yeah, it was still by far the most expensive trip we've ever taken, but significantly less expensive than we were anticipating.
But $800 less.
$800 less, yes. Yeah. So thanks for looking out for me, but we have that one under control, Jimmy.
Yes.
And if I do go back to Japan, which I want to, I'll get in touch, and you can give me other pointers about things that maybe I didn't know.
He needs them.
Yes.
This next email, also Japan related, but more of the why you didn't spend more money portion. It's from Michael, called Denver Steak. With Adrian talking about Wagyu and me visiting Denver a couple weeks ago, it reminded me of going to a Garden Grace in Denver while there. Tried Wagyu there, and holy fuck, it's not even close to any other steak I've had. My wife had a grass-fed steak there instead of the Wagyu, and that was excellent, but the buttery mouthfeel of the Wagyu was amazing. If you haven't gone to Garden Grace, I would highly recommend it, but it is expensive, as you can imagine. I believe the Wagyu was A4 there.
Okay. Yeah, if I get a craving for Wagyu, I might go there. But I mean, I had all you can eat A5 Wagyu. So ooh. I don't know. Stepping down to A4, I don't know if I can commit to that.
Plebes.
Yeah, I'm high class now.
Yeah.
May asked in chat if that budget that I'd mentioned, the $3,500 and then only spending $2,700, if that was total or each of us. That was each. That was $3,500 each. So we went there collectively with $7,000.
Yeah.
In our bank accounts. We didn't travel with $7,000
in total, $1,600 less than planned.
Yes. Which is great. A lot of that was because food was actually, I would say, on the average, way cheaper in Japan than it was here for comparable food.
I would say so.
But
not even comparable, like probably way better.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to eat ramen in the States again.
I mean, there's a couple. There's some good ramen here in the States. I saw one of those Facebook stupid videos. It's 20 kitchen hacks to save time or whatever. And it was to take a coffee maker, like a coffee pot. Yeah.
And you put the block of or pack of ramen in the pot. And then you put a bunch of veggies in in the coffee filter in the upper area. And then you put the ramen broth in the pot and then fill it and then turn it on and make a cup of coffee, and it steams the veggies and makes your broth down into the, and I was watching that and I was like, oh my God, anybody who actually has had good ramen is what the fuck is happening?
It sounds like a way to ruin a coffee maker.
Also probably true.
Yeah.
Certainly the my coffee pot, I'd have to have a separate ramen pot and a coffee pot because my coffee one is so coffee stained.
Mostly the broth going through.
Well, so you put the powder in the pot.
Oh, you're
itself.
using powder.
So you use the ramen powder.
Right. You're not using a broth that's steaming.
No. It's clearly you use an instant
the
ramen.
cheap, shitty instant.
So you put the block of noodles in the bottom of the pot and the seasoning on that, and then just do the regular water through the coffee pot.
Good luck getting a block of noodles in a coffee pot without shattering most of it.
Also true. The entire thing seemed like a disaster.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll see if I can find that video again, so maybe I can share it on our Twitter and be like, hey, if you want to see how to make really shitty ramen.
Great. Fantastic.
Yeah.
So we still got another 2 hours to fill.
I know. I don't know what we're going to do with ourselves. I'm also a little disappointed that sick Zach couldn't even bother to get into chat for a brief minute.
No.
Seriously, Zach, you can't, take 10 minutes off of vomiting.
He's got a nice iPad.
I know.
At least I was on.
You were.
Yeah. I was entertaining the chat while you two were recording.
Yeah, indeed. Was there any other listener feedback that you saw?
That's it.
Okay.
For emails at milehighgameguys.com.
Indeed.
No BGG, no YouTube, no Twitter.
Nope. May says we should have Zach take over for the next 2 hours.
Yep.
I'm down for that.
We'll just leave the stream going. Zach can jump in chat.
Yep. We'll just stream the empty studio.
Yep.
Yeah, right on. Thanks, everybody who sent emails. I encourage as many emails as anybody wants to send about Japan or anywhere else I've traveled. I love to talk about my travel. I'm one of those obnoxious people who travels and then won't shut the fuck up about it. And I am okay with that. But if you want to get hold of us, there are a bunch of different ways to do so. You can watch all of our streams here on Twitch, twitch.tv/MHGameGuys. So the Wednesday podcast is streamed usually Sunday night. Tonight we're doing it on a Monday, but Sunday or Monday, you can catch the full behind the scenes. So no cuts, no edits, just us doing our thing. You can always send us emails.
Emails at milehighgameguys.com.
You can find us over on Twitter, where I tweet under at MHGameGuys.
Zach tweets Zach_MHGG, and I, Jeff, tweet under Jeff_MHGG.
Wow, that really hurt your brain, didn't it?
Yes.
We also have Facebook.com/MHGameGuys. Instagram, we are at MHGameGuys. Our website is milehighgameguys.com, and we are in the process of changing it from fucking stupid Wix, don't ever use Wix, over to Squarespace. Which will it'll also make cross-posting to Punchboard Media and our website much easier, because they'll both be Squarespace, so they'll work nicer together.
Yeah.
But yeah, shouldn't see any change. It's still going to be milehighgameguys.com, but the layout will be a little bit different, and we're going to try and commit to being better about keeping shit over there updated as well. So we'll see. We have our BGG guild number 2731, and there is an awesome Slack channel full of awesome people. There was even an entire channel briefly dedicated to my Japan trip that I'll be archiving probably sometime, I don't know, in the next week or so. I'll give people a chance to catch up on it if they missed it. But all kinds of channels, sports, board games, random things, local food, Blood Bowl, 3D printing, all kinds of channels.
Yes.
So you can come and interact with all of the rest of the Mile High Game Guys community, and who are
just very active.
Very active. Just ignore Boyd.
They're all friendly though.
Yeah. It got a little heated in the news and politics channel, but there's only 13 people in that channel. So for only being 13 people, holy shit, there's a lot
high volume.
High volume.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the link to that Slack channel is over there in the show notes, which you can find on our website, milehighgameguys.com. Also, our show notes are on our Punchboard Media. We do posts of our episodes over there as well. So punchboardmedia.com. There's also a bunch of other awesome content creators. We haven't really done a good job of plugging Punchboard Media lately, but a lot of other great, awesome, diverse content creators over there doing all kinds of stuff. So go check out punchboardmedia.com. Those are all the different ways to get a hold of us. So go do that. Go write emails, send tweets, things like that.
Yeah.
That pretty much wraps everything up. As always, we would like to thank our sponsors, Gray Fox Games, for their continued support of the show. They make these Wednesday episodes possible. You can jump over to their website, grayfoxgames.com, where you can pre-order their last two big Kickstarters, After the Empire and their most recent one, Tortuga, $21.99. Or you can order some of their games like Reavers of Midgard Kickstarter Edition, still available over on their website for $89.99. You can even go a little bit bigger and get the Champions of Midgard Jarl Collector's Box for $59.99. So if you want a super fancy box for your Kickstarter edition of Champions of Midgard, you can do that. I think that wraps everything up. So thanks everybody for joining us.
You're forgetting my portion of the sponsorship.
Oh, that's right. Shit, I feel like I haven't done this in a while. I was like, what the fuck am I forgetting?
Yeah.
Jeff, do you have a prepared statement for us?
Absolutely. Gray Fox Games, quality games cleverly crafted. Also, I'll die after I kill you.
I feel significantly less safe with you saying that with Zach not here.
They're all targeted.
At least there'll be live video evidence of you killing me, or at least threatening to kill me. So if I die mysteriously, you're going to be suspect number one.
Absolutely.
So that officially brings things to a close. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Everybody who watched the show. May says we should get Wes to come over now and just do Arkham Horror LCG for the next 2 hours.
Does he own all of it?
Well, or just talk about it.
Okay.
But yeah, no, that wraps up everything for the show. Thanks everybody for watching on the stream. We started a bit earlier, so we got to have some new faces jump in chat, which was kind of cool.
More time zones can join.
Indeed. East Coast isn't completely left in the dark. And then, thank you to everybody who listens to the episodes You listeners and viewers are the reason we do this whole thing. So keep on supporting us with your eyes and your ears.
Yes.
It is crucial.
Sell them for money. Put it on Patreon.
Sure. Yeah, that's it. As always, I've been your host, Adrian.
And I'm not Alien Jeff.
Bye.
Bye.
Punchboard Media, where we all
bring something
to the table.
pull up a chair
At punchboardmedia.com.